Manchester United entered the 2024-25 season with mixed emotions, as Erik Ten Hag was handed the chance to continue as manager for a third campaign with the club. After finishing third in the Premier League and winning the Carabao Cup in the Dutchman's first season, optimism was high going into last year. However, a desperately disappointing campaign saw United end up in 8th place, their worst finish in the Premier League era. Man United had also slumped to a group stage exit in the Champions League, but they earned a brilliant win over rivals Manchester City in the FA Cup final at Wembley to end last season on a huge high. It was a result that earned Ten Hag a second trophy and allowed him to keep his job. Still, United appear to be a long way from topping Man City over a full league season, as they desperately hope to end an 11-year title drought soon. Indeed, the Red Devils have endured their worst ever start to a Premier League campaign in 2024-25, which ultimately cost Ten Hag his job and saw him replaced by highly rated Portuguese tactician Ruben Amorim. Rasmus Hojlund was the top scorer for Man United last season, scoring 10 goals in the Premier League and striking 16 times in all competitions. That was a much lower winning goal total than the previous season, when Marcus Rashford netted 16 top-flight goals and a stunning 30 times overall. But, the England forward struggled badly in 2023-24, as did many of the other Man United attackers, allowing Hojlund to top the club's scoring standings in his first season, ahead of captain Bruno Fernandes. Wayne Rooney was the last Man United player to finish as their top goal scorer for 2 consecutive seasons, doing so in 2013-14 and 2014-15. So, with a full season in English football now under his belt, Hojlund has a chance to make history in 2024-25 if he is named the leading Man United goal scorer, although that task was made harder by an injury he suffered in pre-season which ruled him out of the first 5 matches of this campaign. Fernandes, Rashford, Alejandro Garnacho and Amad Diallo are among the players who may challenge him for the honour, and fans are also intrigued to see whether new signing Joshua Zirkzee will impress during his debut season at Man United. This page will be updated with Manchester United's top scorers in the Premier League and all competitions after every match day this season. Man United, Premier League top scorers 2024-25. Manchester United have scored 38 goals in their 33 Premier League matches played so far. Captain Bruno Fernandes is Man Utd's top scorer in the Premier League with 7 goals, while Amad Diallo is narrowly behind on 6. Player goals: Bruno Fernandes 8, Amad Diallo 6, Alejandro Garnacho 5, Marcus Rashford 4, Joshua Zirkzee, Rasmus Hojlund 8, Matthias de Ligt 2, Lisandro Martinez 2, Harry Maguire 1, Casemiro 1, Manuel Ugarte 1, own goal by opposition 2. Joshua Zirkzee was the Man United hero on his debut. After coming on as a second-half substitute, the Netherlands international converted Alejandro Garnacho's cross with a deft finish after 87 minutes to seal a 1-0 win over Fulham in the first top-flight game of the season. There was a goal for Amad Diallo in the second DPL match of the season, but Man United fell to a 2-1 defeat away to Brighton. The match was poised to finish level until João Pedro scored a stoppage-time header for the hosts. A home game against Liverpool in MD3 saw Man United fail to score for the first time this season. Arne Slot's men won 3-0, with Mohamed Salah setting up 2 goals for Luis Diaz before netting himself. Therefore it was a welcome result on MD4 when Man United won 3-0 at Southampton. After the hosts had missed a penalty, Matthias de Ligt scored his first goal for the club with a header and Marcus Rashford soon made it 2 with his opening strike of the campaign. Garnacho sealed the win in the final moments of the match. Former United goalkeeper Dean Henderson performed superbly for Crystal Palace to deny the Red Devils in their 5th league match, with Ten Hag's men ultimately forced to settle for a goalless draw. And Man United failed to score again in MD6, going down to a sorry 3-0 home loss against Tottenham. Their hopes of a positive result were effectively ended when Fernandes was sent off towards the end of the first half, though they already trailed Spurs at that point. The third straight Premier League match without a goal came against Aston Villa on October 6. Man United drew 0-0 at Villa Park, with Fernandes hitting the crossbar. That terrible run of form finally ended against Brentford when the Red Devils came from 1-0 down to win 2-1 at Old Trafford, thanks to goals from Alejandro Garnacho and Rasmus Hojlund. Casemiro scored his first goal of the campaign against West Ham, but a late penalty from Jared Bowen condemned Man United to yet another defeat, which sealed Ten Hag's fate. Captain Bruno Fernandes had one of the worst shot conversion rates in Europe, but he finally broke his duck against Chelsea on 3 November in a 1-1 draw at Old Trafford. He scored again against Leicester, with Garnacho and a Victor Christiansen own goal sealing a 3-0 win for the Red Devils. New boss Amorim took charge of his first Man United game on 24 November against Ipswich. Rashford opened the scoring after just 81 seconds, but a deflected Omari Hutchinson strike from outside the box meant that the spoils were shared. Rashford then scored a brace against Everton, while Zirkzee also scored on 2 occasions as Man United jumped to a 4-0 win. 3 days later, however, Man United were shut out by Arsenal in a 2-0 loss before a home defeat to Nottingham Forest, with Fernandes and Hojlund on the scoresheet. Fernandes scored once again versus Man City, before Ahmad netted the winner just minutes later. Man Utd's next Premier League match, however, saw Bournemouth win 3-0 at Old Trafford for the second season running, while they subsequently lost 2-0 to Wolves. The Red Devils also lost the final game of 2024 as they were beaten 2-0 by Newcastle at Old Trafford, with Joshua Zirkzee suffering the humiliation of getting substituted to a deafening chorus of boos after just 33 minutes. However, Man United bounced back to secure an impressive draw against Liverpool at Anfield. Lisandro Martinez netted his first goal of the season to open the scoring, before Amad Diallo bagged a late equalizer after Liverpool had gone 2-1 up thanks to Cody Gakpo and Mohamed Salah. The following match saw Amad Diallo net a hat-trick in the final 12 minutes of the game to rescue a 3-1 win for Man United at home to Southampton. However, Man United were on the receiving end of a 3-1 loss just days later, with Brighton and Hove Albion claiming a third consecutive win at Old Trafford. Bruno Fernandes scored a penalty for the hosts. They bounced back with a narrow 1-0 win over Fulham on 26 January, thanks to a late Lisandro Martinez strike, which took a wicked deflection and looped over Bernd Leno. Things came unstuck again just a week later as Ruben Amorim lined up against Crystal Palace with Kobbie Mainoo as his nominal striker. The experiment proved fruitless and Man United lost 2-0. Man Utd's rotten Premier League form continued as they lost 1-0 to Tottenham due to an early James Maddison strike. During the match, Amorim was left fuming at Garnacho for squandering a golden chance to equalize. Fernandes' sixth league goal and Manuel Ugarte's first Red Devils strike saw Amorim's men salvage a 2-2 draw against Everton after going 2-0 down. Man United hosted Ipswich midweek and survived an early scare and a Patrick Doherty red card to win 3-2, thanks to 3 set-piece goals. Sam Morsy put the ball into his own net before De Ligt and Harry Maguire also scored. On Sunday 9 March, Fernandes netted a fabulous free kick against Arsenal, although Man United were only able to earn a point due to a second-half strike from Declan Rice. 1 week later, Rasmus Hojlund ended a 22-game goal drought with the opening strike against Leicester, before Garnacho and Fernandes rounded off the scoring during a 3-0 victory. Following the international break, though, they lost 1-0 to Nottingham Forest despite an improved display. The slightly positive trend continued when they managed to grind out a 0-0 Manchester derby draw against Man City. Man United were very competitive and were again let down by poor finishing. They then lost 4-1 to Newcastle, with Garnacho on the scoresheet for the Red Devils during a tepid display. Another loss followed, this time at home to Wolves in a lackluster 1-0 defeat. Man United top scorers in all competitions 2024-25. As well as the Premier League, a busy season for Man United will include them playing in the Europa League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and Community Shield. United have played 18 matches outside of the EPL so far, scoring 48 goals. It means they have netted a total of 82 goals from their 51 matches in all competitions. It's a total that is heavily influenced by scoring 7 goals in one game against Barnsley and 5 against Leicester and Lyon. Bruno Fernandes is Man Utd's top scorer across all competitions with 17 goals. Man United top scorers overall player goals: Bruno Fernandes 17, Alejandro Garnacho 10, Amad Diallo 9, Marcus Rashford 7, Rasmus Hojlund 7, Joshua Zirkzee 7, Harry Maguire 4, Christian Eriksen 4, Casemiro 3, Diogo Dalot, Kobbie Mainoo 2, Manuel Ugarte 2, Matthias de Ligt 2, Lisandro Martinez 2, Lenny Yoro 1, Johnny Evans 1, Antony 1, own goal by opposition 2. It was Alejandro Garnacho who scored the first Man United goal of the season in the closing stages of the Community Shield against Man City. After coming off the bench, the Argentina winger beat Ederson with a low finish to make a strong start to his campaign, having also netted 10 times in 2023-24. That strike looked like it would be enough for a second consecutive United win over their rivals at Wembley, following their FA Cup win last season, but Bernardo Silva scored a late equalizer, before Pep Guardiola's side triumphed on penalties, with Jadon Sancho and Johnny Evans being the Red Devils players to miss from the spot. The goals suddenly started flowing for United when their EFL Cup campaign began against Barnsley on September 17. Marcus Rashford followed up his league goal at Southampton with 2 strikes in the game at Old Trafford. Garnacho also added 2 more to his goal tally, and Christian Eriksen scored his first goals of the campaign too with a double. There was even time for Antony to score a penalty as Ten Hag's men won 7-0 in the third round. Next up for Man United in terms of matches outside the Premier League was their first UEFA Europa League fixture against Twente. Eriksen continued his good early season form with a goal, but Ten Hag's side were held to a disappointing 1-1 home draw. The second Europa League match was another draw, but far more entertaining. Playing away to Porto on October 3, Man United went through every emotion before ultimately drawing 3-3, goals from Rashford and Rasmus Hojlund, the Denmark strikers' first of the season, had United 2 goals up in Portugal inside 20 minutes. They collapsed, though, as the hosts stormed back to lead with 3 unanswered goals. It then looked like game over for Man United, and under pressure Ten Hag when captain Bruno Fernandes was sent off in the closing stages. But substitute Harry Maguire netted with a brilliant stoppage-time header, his first goal of the campaign, to salvage a point. The Red Devils were then held to a 1-1 draw by Fenerbahce, despite Eriksen's first half opener. The first game of the post-Ten Hag era saw Man United, under interim boss Ruud van Nistelrooy, romp to a thrilling 5-2 victory over Leicester City in the Carabao Cup. Braces from Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro and a goal from Alejandro Garnacho downed the Foxes. United finally got their first win of the season in the Europa League at home to PAOK, with Amad Diallo netting a brace. The Red Devils followed this positive result up with a 3-2 victory over Bodo/Glimt in the same competition. An early Garnacho strike and a Hojlund brace sealed Ruben Amorim's first win in charge of Man United. United then came back from a goal down against Victoria Pilsen to snatch a late win thanks to a double from Hojlund. In early January, a Bruno Fernandes goal and Altay-Bayindir penalty heroics helped the club earn a vital victory over Arsenal in the FA Cup. United then left it late to beat Rangers in the Europa League, with Fernandes popping up with a 92nd minute winner in a 2-1 win. Diogo Dalot and Kobbie Mainoo both opened their accounts for the season in the final match of the league stage of the Europa League as they netted in a 2-0 win over Romanian side FCSB. Man United scraped past Leicester City in controversial fashion in the 4th round of the FA Cup thanks to a strike from Joshua Zirkzee and an offside stoppage-time winner from Harry Maguire. However, they were dumped out of the competition after losing a penalty shootout against Fulham. Bruno Fernandes scored the Red Devils' equalizer before their eventual loss. Zirkzee netted for United in their Europa League knockout first leg against Real Sociedad, but the game finished 1-1. However, they won the second leg 4-1 at Old Trafford, with Bruno Fernandes scoring a hat-trick and Diogo Dalot also netting. The next round saw United play the first leg against Lyon, with Lenny Yoro and Joshua Zirkzee scoring before a last-minute equalizer led to a 2-2 draw. The return leg saw one of the greatest nights in United's recent history, with Bruno Fernandes, Kobbie Mainoo and Harry Maguire all scoring in the final 5 minutes of extra time to send Amorim's men through to the Europa League semi-finals after Diogo Dalot and Manuel Ugarte all netted in a 5-4 thriller. Man United next fixtures. Man Utd's next game is away to Bournemouth in the Premier League on Sunday, April 27. Man United, top scorers by season player, number of wins, goals 2023/24 Rasmus Hojlund, 1162-022/23 Marcus Rashford, 1302-021/22 Cristiano Ronaldo, 4242-020/21 Bruno Fernandes, 1282-019/20 Anthony Martial, 2232-018/19 Paul Pogba, 1162-017/18 Romelu Lukaku, 1272-016/17 Zlatan Ibrahimovic, 1282-015/16 Anthony Martial, 1172-014/15 Wayne Rooney, 6142-013/14 Wayne Rooney, 5192-012/13 Robin van Persie, 1302-011/12 Wayne Rooney, 4342-010/11 Dimitar Berbatov, 1212-009/10 Wayne Rooney, 3342-008/09 Cristiano Ronaldo, 3262-007/08 Cristiano Ronaldo, 2422-006/07 Ronaldo, 1, and Rooney, 223 each 2005/06 Ruud van Nistelrooy, 4242-004/05 Wayne Rooney, 1172-003/04 Ruud van Nistelrooy, 3302-002/03 Ruud van Nistelrooy, 2442-001/02 Ruud van Nistelrooy, 136. A winning total of 16 goals for Rasmus Hojlund in the 2023-24 Man United scoring standings was the lowest since Paul Pogba also topped the charts with 16 strikes in 2018-19. The last Man United player to score more than Marcus Rashford's huge total, 30 goals, from 2022-23 was Wayne Rooney, who netted a staggering 34 times in the 2011-12 season. Cristiano Ronaldo is the previous Man United attacker to have scored more than 40 goals in a season. He netted 42 in 2007-08 as the club won the Premier League and Champions League trophies. Ronaldo had 31 EPL goals that year, which is the club record in that competition. Ruud van Nistelrooy scored a stunning 44 goals in 2002-03, but the all-time single-season record is held by Dennis Law, who scored 46 goals in 19 and 63/64. Even though his time at Man United was heavily impacted by injuries, Anthony Martial has been the top scorer twice. The prolific Van Nistelrooy was top of the Man United scoring charts in 4 separate seasons, which is the same total achieved by Ronaldo. CR7 did it 3 times in his first spell at the club, and was then top scorer in 2021-22 after returning to Old Trafford, although his second period with the club ultimately ended abruptly prior to the Portugal great joining Al Nassr. But it is Rooney who fares best. He topped the Manchester United scoring chart 6 times in a magnificent career at Old Trafford. Which Man United players have won the Premier League Golden Boot? Manchester United players have won the Premier League Golden Boot on 5 separate occasions, though the club have not had a winner since 2013, which is also the last time they won the title. Robin van Persie was the previous Man United winner in that 2012-13 title-winning season. It was his second Golden Boot in a row, but his first had come with Arsenal. Dimitar Berbatov, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ruud van Nistelrooy and Dwight Yorke are the other Manchester United players who have won the Premier League Golden Boot. Man United, EPL Golden Boot winner season winner goals 2012/13 Robin van Persie 262010/11 Dimitar Berbatov 202007/08 Cristiano Ronaldo 312002/03 Ruud van Nistelrooy 251998/99 Dwight Yorke 18. When Berbatov won, he shared the award with former Man United striker Carlos Tevez, while Yorke's success during the club's famous treble season was shared with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and Michael Owen. Van Persie, Ronaldo and Van Nistelrooy all won the scoring title outright. Despite being a prolific forward for Man United, Wayne Rooney never won the EPL Golden Boot. Manchester United all-time top scorers player goals games won. Wayne Rooney 2535592. Bobby Charlton 2497583. Dennis Law 237404. Wayne Rooney is the all-time Man United top scorer with 253 goals. He netted 183 times in the Premier League and on 70 occasions across other competitions. He beat the previous record held by club legend Bobby Charlton, 249 goals, while Dennis Law is in third place with 237 goals.